Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun. Today we're learning Masechus Eiruvin, Perek Daled, Mishnayos Daled, and Hey. Mishnah Hey talks about something which is a little confusing. Um, you're traveling back home in the wilderness, to the midbar. You just could the Kriyas Yam, so if you're in the midbar, everything is decent, but you have man, right? Everything's man is a great thing. Man's not so great because half of eating is not just the taste, the visuals. Everything looks the same. You know, it's communism. It's there's no capitalism. You can't make a living. You can't make extra money. You can only have exactly what you want. So it's like communism a little bit. So everything's the midbar is the greatest thing. It's figures about. You're in the wilderness. Okay, a joke. You're in the wilderness. It's not such a joke. There's truth to that. You're in the wilderness and you find yourself, you fall asleep on the way, and then you realize when you wake up, it's already Shabbos, and you're not within 2,000 amos. Mishnah Daled said, if you realize you're within 2,000 amos of a city, you can go into that city because you're in the confines of that city. You're outside the confines of 2,000 amos outside any city. So what do you do? How far can you walk? You have to stay within Daled Amos. Come say Daled Amos. That's all you can stay. But Yochanan Minori says, we paskin like you could actually have 2,000 amos, even though it doesn't let you go into any city. 2,000 amos is not so bad, That's like 2,000 amos is basically 3,000 feet. Basically, that's pretty good. Maybe to each side, 3,000 feet. It's not so bad, Maybe you can find some coconuts. You can find some wood to make a fire. Well, you can't make a fire on Shabbos, but maybe you can find some wood to sit on a nice shade of a palm tree. But at least you can walk around a little bit. Imagine it's like a solitary confinement being in Daled Amos. We pass on. So what's the machlokes based on? So if you look in the Ravadia Tanur, and I believe it comes from the Gemara, the machlokes is technical machlokes, whether you're considered hefker or not. Are you considered hefker or not considered hefker? Because hefker is Kohen Shvisa or not. But I think it's a more primal machlokes. And the machlokes is, the concept of tchumen. Right? We learned that shvuish tachtav. You're supposed to stay in your place. When you're in a city, obviously you don't have to stay in your place. You can travel the entire city. A huge city, New York City, you can travel the entire city. And even 2,000 amos, the outskirts of the city. So is the pshat that the city and 2,000 amos is like my Daled Amos? Because it says in the pasuk shvuish tachtav. Shvuish tachtav is talking about in the wilderness. So 4 amos the wilderness, like the Rabbanan say. When I'm in a city, it's like 4 amos, right? Because 4 amos is basically my place. That's my place. My place is 4 amos. Or the pshat is, the city is not the pshat that it's like 4 amos. The pshat in a city is that it's not that it's like every place is my 4 amos. The pshat is it's a regular din of shvuish tachtav actually tells me on a doraisa level. I believe Rabbi Yochanan holds on the Deraisa level. It doesn't tell me 4 amos. It tells me 2,000 amos. The 2,000 amos only begin outside the city because within the city is the city, right? But 2,000 amos. It tells me 2,000 amos. It's machlokes. What does Shvuish Tachtav tell me? Does that mean tell me I have city limits of 2,000 amos, the outskirts of the city even 2,000 amos, or does it tell me I only have 4 amos? Now, even the Rabbanan are modeh within a city, you have the city and 2,000 amos because that's all considered like your Daled Amos. Because a city and its boundaries until 2,000 amos is like one city, right? Where am I living? I'm living in the city. You're living in, Manhattan. You're living in the city. But according to Yochanan Uri, it's not like that. It's not the shot that the city is like my Daled Amos. The city is a city, right? And there's actually a din of 2,000 amos. So therefore, when I find myself outside of a city or in the wilderness, I always have 2,000 amos, right? The city is not like my Daled Amos. The city, it's not even a discussion. There's no Havamim at the Asra, my city, right? The only question is, do I have 2,000 amos? Where do you start counting 2,000 amos? From the outskirts of the city. The city, it's not like my Daled Amos, the city. The city is living in a city is not even a question of Tchumen. That's a question. Living in a city is not even a question of Tchumen. That's just where I live. That's not a question of Tchumen. You want to ask me the Tchumen? Measure the wilderness. Outside the boundaries of the city, I have 2,000 amos into the wilderness. So you start measuring from there. But the city is not considered my Daled Amos. The city is considered, it's not even a question of Tchumen. There's no problem with Tchumen. Tchumen only starts in the wilderness. So in a regular city, I have 2,000 amos into the wilderness, and when I'm in the wilderness, I have 2,000 amos to any direction. According to the Rabbanan, no, the Rabbanan say that Shuish Tachta, even in the city, you only have 4 amos. We don't say a city is not a question of Tchumen. Tchumen is Dalet Amos, always Dalet Amos. What happens? A city happens to be, every place is your Dalet Amos. And also, with 2,000 amos outside the city, is Tafel to the city, it's Batal to the city, it's like your Dalet Amos. 2,000 amos is not a din of 2,000 amos, it's just a din of, it's like my 2,000 amos is not a din of 2,000 amos, it's a din of Dalet Amos. It's like part of my Dalet Amos, because the outskirts of the city are Batal to the city, they're part of the city. And therefore, it's not a din of Tchumen is 2,000 amos. Din of Tchumen is all really Dalet Amos, just 2,000 amos in Svar and logic happens to be part of the city. Right? So therefore, I'm outside any boundaries of any city, I'm in the wilderness, I only have Dalet Amos. That's my makom. That's the Machloka, Yochanan Nuri, and the Rabbanan. I hope you enjoyed today's shir. See you in the next one.